Leading a team today takes more than just an air of authority and some good project management skills. In fact, today more than ever, you have to be able to create conditions for your team to be able to adapt and respond effectively to whatever comes their way. And one of the big things you can do to make them more adaptive and responsive is to make sure that they know the purpose of their work. In fact, that they find it to be a compelling purpose, that it really gets buy-in from them. Now, this is nothing new. There have been many commentators over the decades who've talked about having purpose. So why is it then that so many teams, so many workplaces don't emphasize this? I don't know, maybe it's because we're very busy paying too much attention to the details of the work that we don't go back up to our purpose to remind people of why we're doing what we're doing. Well, busyness is one thing. Maybe it's because the leadership above you doesn't emphasize it, so you haven't seen the importance to do that either. And maybe it is you just like being in the middle of the daily work and you don't want to mess with all that lofty purpose stuff. Well, we know that in order to create a high-performing team, in order to create workers in general, even if they're not on a team, who really care about their work and really make sure their work is in alignment with the organization's goals, that having a compelling purpose is important. So for example, when there are issues with execution, so for example, you're not hitting milestones or not achieving the ultimate goal, not making good progress, well, that's a great opportunity to refocus your team on those broader principles, including the purpose. What are we here to do? You could also maybe even bring in values and behavioral norms or the overall strategy, because sometimes you get so focused on the day-to-day work that you forget where you're heading, and that purpose can provide that destination for your team to really focus on to get to, so that they can adjust their daily work to achieve it. Or maybe there are relationships issues. There's conflict, whether inside of a team or with other people outside your group. And when that conflict occurs, that's a sure sign that, you need to really step back and figure out what really is in conflict here. And so touching base with some of that larger context, your compelling purpose, for example, the values that you're all supposed to be working under, your company values, and the behavioral norms that define how you emulate or display those values. You may need to revisit that larger context in order to get people focused on the right things and to be able to understand the conflict. Maybe the conflict isn't about the people involved. Maybe it's something else that's making them go at each other. So if you're not tying your daily work back to that larger context, the purpose, the strategy, the values, etc., then you are missing out on opportunities to make your team or to allow your team to become more self-directed and to take more ownership in their work.